Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. Yes, the former President Donald Trump's hush money case closing arguments begin today, and we will discuss what some people think will happen. You guys let us know in the comments what you think will happen as well. I am Nikki Maduro. She is Kim McAllister. Please click that subscribe button and, of course, that thumbs up and the bell so you don't miss a moment of the news. Towards the end of the show today, we'll also talk, high school careers are coming to the end for many people. We have graduations going on. Senior pranks have been happening. Well, there's this game called Senior Assassin that's been making headlines, and it sounds like just good, wholesome teenage fun.
Yeah.
Until, of course, it isn't. So we'll talk about that and kind of who's at fault and should people just kind of get a grip. We'll discuss. But first, Kim, let's talk about the fact that closing arguments are set to begin today. And your predictions, your thoughts. I mean, do we really think that there's a case here? Because a lot of people, including the former president himself, of course, think that, this, of course, is a witch trial. Where are you placing your bet, my friend?
I'm placing my bets. I think there's a couple different types of charges here. From what I understand, there's felony charges, right? And I don't know if I think there might be misdemeanor charges. I bet he gets found guilty of a couple misdemeanors, and I'm betting fine and no jail time. That's what I'm thinking.
That's where I'm leaning. So that's exactly where I would put mine. So, I mean, he's facing 34 felony counts. Okay. Right. So some would say.
Are there misdemeanor counts there too?
Let me see the felony ones are the ones that they're doing there. I don't know about the misdemeanor. Maybe they could be reduced. I don't know. But all I keep saying is the 34 felony counts, which seems like a lot. Like, you think you'd get one, right? You think you would definitely get one. Now, again, even if he's convicted, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to jail or that he can't win the presidency.
My fantasy of the orange jumpsuit is likely not to come true.
Right.
I feel like, though, and I'm not in the courtroom, obviously, and there's a feel in the courtroom. There's, you see people's faces. You kind of get a different feeling for everything.
Right.
But just hearing the evidence every day, reading the court transcripts and seeing what happened every day, I feel like if I was on the jury, just regardless of how my feelings are for Trump, which we all know are not favorable,
of course,
that I would have been able to look at the evidence. And I think the prosecution lays out this amazing case, right? Yeah. First, they kind of lay it all out for you before they get to Cohen. Then when they get to Cohen, an admitted liar, he corroborates everything.
Yeah.
They have documents that they're entering into evidence. They have
Donald Trump's signature on the checks.
I'm having a hard time not thinking that he's not going to be found guilty for something here. And then you get to the defense and they put up this combative witness who really doesn't do much, I don't think, to make their case. So I'm not liking really what the defense had to say. And if I'm a member of the jury, I'm thinking, even if I'm a big old Trumper, I'm thinking it's pretty clear that what the case they're trying to make has been
made. Exactly. Well, of course, Trump is laying the groundwork that this, of course, is a witch hunt. Over the weekend, he's on Truth Social. This is just before midnight over the weekend. Yeah. Trump was on his Truth Social. Says legal expense equals legal expense. Legal expense equals legal expense. He says, let's put the president in jail for 150 years because all caps, legal expense to a lawyer was called by a bookkeeper a legal expense to a lawyer. What else would you call it? Crooked Joe Biden witch hunt. I mean, it's just so stupid. Election interference. Make America great again. I mean, take a deep breath.
What it's called is you tried to interfere with an election by cooking the books to pay off a porn star.
He should have just called it what it was and dug into his own friggin' pocket and not his campaign funds.
Such a scumbag.
He's such an idiot. He also wrote, I have a great case. Of course you do. Why would you have anything but the best? But with a rigged and conflicted judge, history proves, however, that I would be far better off with a bad case. This isn't making any sense. I want a bad case with a great, fair, and honest judge. That doesn't make any sense. And then at 1:30 in the morning, he says the city of New York's DA, Alvin Bragg, is trying to prosecute a federal case which cannot be done, where there's no crime that's been turned down by everyone, including the Federal Elections Commission, SDNY, the DA's office, and Bragg himself, until I announced I was running for president. This case could have been brought 7 years ago, but it wasn't. It's another crooked Joe Biden election interference hoax. I mean, it's so typical of him, but I wonder if he's like realizing that they did prove their case. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I'm going to hedge all of my bets. And so if I do, then obviously the judge is crooked. I want a bad case with an honest judge. What the hell does that mean? Like, he's losing it a little bit before.
Well, he's got this judge in Florida, right? Eileen Cannon, who he picked to be on the bench down there. And she's allowing delays and all kinds of things.
Exactly.
And so maybe this is the kind of treatment that he's used to getting. And then you go to New York and they're like, homie, don't play that. That's not how it works here.
And the truth of the matter is he can appeal. I mean, he's going to drag his feet no matter what. Now, a known Trump critic, George Conway, made his own predictions. And here's what he had to say.
The testimony that we heard just has Trump neck deep in all of this. And it's going to be hard for the jury not to conclude that he didn't cause all of this. And it's going to be hard for the jury not to conclude that the purpose of it was to aid the election campaign, in which case it was a campaign finance violation. Yeah. So the defense has its work cut out for it. But all the defense has to do is convince one juror to hang the group. I don't think they can get an acquittal. I don't think they're going to get 12 votes unanimously to acquit him. I think their best shot, and that's what they're going to do, is hope that there's just some person on the jury who just refuses to convict. But again, I think that's going to be really, really hard with Trump having signed 8 of those checks, and also the attempts, so much other evidence, but the attempts to basically conceal it all. I'm not sure how a good outcome, other than possibly the luck of the draw, mistrial on the jury, 11-1 or 10-2. I don't see a good outcome for Donald Trump out of this.
Can I just pause this to say, people choose their background when they're on national television for interviews. Can I say I love that George Conway has chosen 6, what are those, dog figurines? He has like a dog sugar jar on the left of him. Just like,
and a
okay,
guitar.
George.
Like, what are you doing?
I know.
I think that's his kitchen because there's a fridge back there.
I mean, there is, but like he set those friggin' dogs up. You know what I mean? Like, what message are we sending here? Is there something we could read from George Conway's background on his like opinion
about? He likes dogs and tunes.
It's just funny. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna get over the fact that he had all these weird colored dogs in the background. But I think he makes a point. I mean, again, they do. I don't think he's going to get acquitted. I think if he gets acquitted, which I don't think is possible, all MAGA's on that jury. I mean, I just don't think that that's possible. So, we're going to have to see. I mean, closing arguments, the fact that he signed the checks, the fact that Trump is like the first one to say, I know everything, I do everything. And then in this case, you didn't you didn't handle it. You didn't know what was going on. And it's not a legal expense. And you can't have it both ways, Trump.
So call me naive.
Okay, naive.
But say there's a MAGA person on the jury.
Right.
Just say at least one.
Yeah, it's a high possibility, right?
In my mind, MAGAs are people that watch Fox News that don't ever hear any real true news, right?
Right.
They hear news on a spin. They kind of hear a half story in the spin that they want to hear.
Right.
Well, when you're in a courtroom and you're looking at real evidence and checks signed and, people speaking their truth, and you're confronted with the truth, perhaps then you have a different take because you're not just watching one channel and getting spoon-fed a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Maybe then, even if we're a Trump supporter, you feel like a little differently about the case. I think it really all hinges on the jury instructions.
Oh, absolutely.
What the judge is going to tell the jury, what they're looking for.
What do you have
if
to find?
You find
yes,
this, then
exactly.
you find for this law to be broken. And if you find this, then this law was broken. And it's really not that complicated. I mean,
and can you convince yourself, even if you are MAGA, even if you're on the
Mhm.
jury and MAGA, and you're like, well, I just don't think that should be a felony. That's how I think their mind's going to work. It's like, fine, yes, he did what they said, but
But it
that shouldn't
is.
be a felony. But it
It's
is,
not
yes.
whether
But
you
they're going to
want it
make
to
that
be.
machination in their head. You know what I mean?
You don't get to make the rules. If you find that he did this, then he broke this law. You don't get to pick what kind of law it was. Right?
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's the way the law works, but I've never
well,
been on a
that's
jury,
the way
so I
that's
don't
the
know.
way the law works
Yeah.
for all of us. You know what I mean? But again, I think that there is a point where
Mhm.
some people are going to say, you know, they're going to make it make sense in their own mind. Here's another MSNBC legal analyst, Neil Katyal. I don't know. I'm pronouncing his name right. And he was kind of giving his idea about what he thinks is going to be seen. And he does believe, kind of like we do, that obviously there's going to be a conviction.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I'd say, Jen, is it's just significant that we're finally at closing arguments after Trump's repeated attempts to delay this, to stop this trial, even just a couple of days ago, rushing to the Court of Appeals, saying the judge has to be recused for bias and stuff. All of that has been beaten back by the Appellate Court in New York. And so now we are finally going to get to closing arguments. And I think what the Trump defense is going to do is basically to say, this is not a case about Donald Trump, it's a case about Michael Cohen. And they'll put Michael Cohen on trial. They'll call him a liar. They'll say he was convicted because he was a liar, that he's in it for his own ends, that he's in it for ego,
Still sign
because
the
he's
checks, though,
not
buddy.
a spurned lover, but a spurned lawyer by Donald Trump and the like. And what the prosecution is going to say, picking up on what Andrew said just a moment ago, and I totally agree with it, is that this is not just a case about Michael Cohen. It's a case about Michael Cohen plus. Cohen is just gravy. And it's things like the Hope Hicks testimony that Andrew referred to, but it's also handwritten notes that we've got, and those checks that you just flashed on the screen a moment ago, which picks up on paragraph 33 in the complaint. These are checks that Donald Trump himself signed. And so that shows knowledge of the whole scheme. And I think at the end of the day, the Trump defense is going to play trying to get to beyond a reasonable doubt, just getting one juror who's going to say, hey, I disagree, because in our system, that means you can't put him in jail. And the prosecution is going to say, hey, this is common sense. We're talking about a guy, Donald Trump, who watched every penny. Do you really think that he would have been cool with all this money going out of his account without knowing it? Do you really think he would just reimburse $430,000, whatever that number is, without some knowledge about what was going on? Of course not.
So of course not. I mean, I think that that's just perfectly said, you know? So we'll see. I mean, one juror keeping him out of jail, please. I mean, Kim wants her orange jail jumpsuit
really
picture,
do.
and so do I.
I really would like my orange jumpsuit moment.
I really do. But again, I think that for this country,
I think the judge has been so lenient with the gag order things. We should have already seen him in a jail cell.
That is very true. Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying something of note.
No, I was kind of, it's just kind of like we all want it. And I don't want to like kind of dance on the grave, but it's kind of like what we were talking about yesterday about a crime and a punishment. If I did this as a normal American, what would my punishment be? Well, that's what Donald Trump should get. He shouldn't get, oh, well, he's running for president, BS. Who cares? He should actually, it should be even harsher of a punishment because he wants to run this country again. So, you know, and will it unify the country is the other thing that I was going to say. Now, I am not a Kid Rock fan. Even before he started getting all political, I wasn't that big of a Kid Rock fan. I mean, yeah, a song played on the radio, probably toasted a beer, you know, while listening to it. I think I did when I was in Nashville. We ended up in one of his bars or some crap. I think it was one of his bars, but it wasn't like I could care less. I could not care less about Kid Rock. But he has given an interview with Rolling Stone where he admitted, apparently he was drunk at the time, though. He admitted in this interview with Rolling Stone that he's, quote, part of the problem, adding to the cultural divisions in the country. Apparently, Kid Rock, he said he ended with what the reporter described as a drunk and belligerent Rock dropping the N-word. He said he's a polarizing figure. After discussing issues like the boycott of Bud Light after the company teamed up with a transgender influencer. He said pairing up with Tucker Carlson as well. He said, I'm part of the problem. I'm one of the polarizing people. No question. Sometimes I bitch about other people. Then I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh yeah? Why don't you shut the F up too? The musician chalked it up to a rich guy issue. He said, it's a rich guy issue. No F's left. I'm not going to get it right every time, but I know my heart is right. I want what's best for the country. Can you want to do both of those things? Can you want what's best for the country and support Donald Trump?
If you know that you're the problem, then you're not doing what's best for the country.
I mean, is speaking out about what, like, is speaking out that you're a Trump supporter because you like maybe his policies. Maybe you don't like him as a person, but you know what? I believe in conservative values and policies, and I don't think the Democrats do anything about the border, blah, 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 blah. Is speaking out about that and standing behind the guy that says he's going to do something about it, even though he gave up his own border bill, mean anything? I don't know.
Picture of him. Did you notice all the names of his songs? Like Meta Mother Beep, Quite Like Me. The last one is Bad Mother Beeper.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
He's an asshat.
Yeah.
Kid Rock said he wants Trump back in office because he's a fighter who cheats at golf. He says, you think I like Trump because he's a nice guy? I'm not electing the deacon of church. That MFer likes to win. He likes to cheat in his effing golf game. I want that guy on my team.
No.
I want the guy who goes, I'm going to fight with you. Are you effing kidding me?
America is honor and dignity. Isn't it? Isn't it like that's what makes America? We're the good guys, aren't we? Aren't we supposed to be the good guys? We don't want the cheaters and the criminals and the grifters. We don't want that. We want
He wants to be fooled. He wants to. Kid Rock is basically saying, fool me, trick me, screw me over. Because I believe that means that you want to fight for me. No, that just means you're looking out for yourself. You want to know why people cheat at golf? So they win. You think they cheat at golf because they want everyone to have a good time? Well, they want everybody to enjoy the game?
He's saying, like, if you have a cheater on your team, if you have a cheater, someone who's willing to do whatever it takes to win, then America's going to come out on top. But I don't think that's what happens.
We're divided. We're weak.
No.
We're weak right now.
No,
because we're so
we want the best of the best. We don't want the cheaters. I want to win the good way.
Yeah. Well, apparently Kid Rock was hammered during this interview, and he ended it by saying, would you do me a favor? Just write the most horrific article about me. Do it. It helps me. So There you go. And again, it's who you align yourself and who aligns themselves with you that speaks volumes about what you attract and what you put out in the world. And yeah, doesn't surprise me 2 licks that Kid Rock is a huge Trumper and would give an interview like that. So kick rocks, Kid Rock. Yeah, I just don't care about him at all. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Again, we'll continue to follow the hush money case, and when stuff happens, we'll bring it to you. But let's talk about the end of the school year. End of the school year brings graduations, college admissions, college rejections, and something called senior pranks. So I went, again, like I've said a million times, I've gone to an all-girls Catholic high school. If there was a senior prank, I wasn't part of it. So I didn't do anything like that. Did you participate in anything like that?
So, no, but I have been amongst the crowd looking at the result of senior pranks.
Okay.
Petaluma High School mascot is a Trojan.
Okay.
And so the rival school in town, Casa Grande High School in Petaluma, one year came and put condoms all over the goalpost on the football field for, Trojan condom, blah, blah. And then there was some retribution or retaliatory prank that involved livestock that didn't end well at the Casa Grande campus. So I've seen senior pranks go off before, but I've never been involved in doing it.
Okay, well, this isn't necessarily, I don't know if you would call this a senior prank. It's kind of like a senior game that some people are playing, and apparently it's been going on for years. Yeah. But because it's been ending badly in some cases, some police agencies, some in Florida, some in other parts of the country, are issuing a warning about a game called Senior Assassin. I'm going to play you this TikTok video to kind of give you an idea of what exactly Senior Assassin involves.
So it's Senior Assassin, and to get my...
Oh, damn it. Hold on.
So it's Senior Assassin, and to get my target, I'm having my brother put on his Boy Scout outfit, walk up to his door, and pretend like he's selling something, and I'm going to be around the corner in the bushes. Okay, we're almost there, and I'm literally shaking.
Ready, go.
Water gun. You can tell us the water.
I'm gonna be on this side by this bush.
I mean, it does kind of look fun, Kim. I'll be honest. It does look like fun.
Go, I know.
Oh, we're not getting the video of it.
I actually believe that. I was like, oh my God.
So she got her target. Apparently, she got the target. She shot him with water, and that's the point. Is that they basically go around with water guns and try to get their target, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a senior prank. Right?
It's kind of like a senior prank or a senior game or whatever. But apparently, people have been worried that these teenagers or seniors are going to get themselves killed because people think that Kim, they're actually shooting each other with real guns.
Well, from this article that I was reading on CNN, one person says this game, which often they post videos like we just saw to TikTok or YouTube or whatever have you, has already led to many 911 calls, car crashes, a school evacuation, because someone with a gun, right? And dangerous confrontations with actual gun owners. And we've seen that a couple of times where at one point someone just merely turned into a driveway and a homeowner opened fire.
Right.
So like if you don't take a beat and realize that something like this is not a real gun, but maybe, I mean, I would think I would go, what's that thing on top? It looks like a water, whatever.
Yeah.
But they use these long range water rifles so they can hit their targets. And there's an opinion piece on CNN saying this is going to end in tragedy.
Yeah.
Someone is going to see one of these, think it's a real gun, call the police, or else just open fire with their own weapon. And this is what we have. And so then this whole senior assassin thing turns into something horrible.
And isn't that the saddest part, though? So this is just a part of the opinion piece in CNN. It's that parents should not let their kids play senior assassin. In some cases, schools should consider letting it be played on school premises as a deterrent to having it played in public, where it can lead to misunderstandings. I mean, this is the world that we've created for our children. A world in which you can't even, and I understand the image you just showed of the guns and the similarities. But again, all you 2A MFers, right, that are just like, it makes our world safe. You know what? It also makes our world scarier, where kids can't even play a freaking water gun fight without people thinking that it's a real gun, because we've been so traumatized by the reality of shootings. Like, that's why.
And I don't even think a school could condone it, because then what do you have? In my mind, here's where it goes. And I know this is horrible, but in my mind, then you have some kids show up with a real gun.
Yeah.
And then people would think, oh, everybody has a water gun and it's fine, right? You can't have that either.
And
so
that's what sucks.
They can't do it.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I'm really disappointed. I'm disappointed that this is where we are. I think I mentioned it before. Like, for my kids, I want them to do a whole summer break bucket list, and water balloon fights and water gun fights are part of it. Like, just go outside, get your friends. I've been part of them. It's something fun that the city of San Jose actually does in the summertime. It's supposed to be a fun thing, but no, because it's 2024, because all you, again, 2A before anything else, people, you don't realize the consequence of this. We are a traumatized nation by the amount of school shootings or just regular ass shootings that have been happening all over. And all you people saying, well, a good guy with a gun is going to take out a bad guy. Now our kids can't even play. Now we even mentioned it, and Kim's mind goes immediately to the bad actor that's going to ruin it and do this terrible thing. And that's what sucks.
I mean, can you see that headline? Because I can.
Absolutely. I could totally see it.
Now, there's a difference if, say, you have a larger property or you're letting the kids have a water gun fight in your house or in your backyard.
Right.
That's different on your own property. But the minute it goes into town, or the minute it goes into people's other homes who might not know what's coming, right? Or the minute it's on school property, now we've got a problem, because someone could call and have a I mean, even if you had it on your property, what if a neighbor saw out a window from far away and thought there were kids with guns running around?
Exactly.
You just don't know.
And what's sad is that, and kids are kids, so they're going to do stupid things. Kids can't even play games anymore without it going too far. You know what I mean? It's like someone's going to do something stupid. I'm looking at one video and I can't bring it up. I apologize. But somebody fills their water gun with red food coloring. So now when I shoot you, and it's a kid being stupid and honestly, it's a trigger. That just shows how traumatized these kids are, because that's where their mind goes. That's what's happening. And that's so sad. And I just don't know how we turn back the clock on this. Yeah. I don't know how we help our children heal, how we heal from stuff like this. But congratulations, all you gun nuts out there that fight against any sort of reasonable gun reform, right? I'm not taking your freaking gun away. But this is the world that you've created. And I'm so glad that you think it's so safe that kids can't even play with freaking water guns anymore on a hot summer day. So congratulations, morons.
And I think it has to be canceled. Senior Assassin Day has to be canceled.
It just can't happen. Trouble.
If it results in the injury or death of one child, it's just not worth it.
It's too much. Exactly. Absolutely too much.
I could see it being fun. Here in Sonoma County, there's a lot of people that have ranches.
Yeah.
Right?
It has to be organized. Yeah, it has to be. And maybe it has to be water balloons instead of water guns, which aren't as fun because water guns last a hell of a lot longer. But that's it. You know what I mean? We have to do stuff like that.
Yep.
All right. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about a couple two shocking stories. One has to do with that guy, Morgan Spurlock. You'll remember him. He did that documentary, Super Size Me, where he only ate McDonald's for like a month or something. He passed away. And it's what I read in this article about his life that just shocked me about what kind of it means to be healthy in a way. And then this story of a woman who owned a dog that, I guess for lack of a better description, came back from the dead, but she doesn't have the dog. So that's a kind of a crazy story. So join us for that tomorrow as well. Before we go, click that thumbs up button. Make sure you've subscribed and share the show with your friends. We really want to continue doing the show, and we want to grow our subscribers. And the number one way to continue doing the show is to make it financially viable. And so please consider becoming a Madorable. It doesn't take much to keep this show going, but we really do want to keep it going. So go to thenikkimadoroshow.com and sign up for our Patreon. You can decide how much you can afford one time a month. And if you're already a Madorable, please consider bumping up your donation, because it really helps. Every single dollar helps myself and helps Kim keep the show going. If you like PayPal, just go to paypal.com, put in the email address, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com after you hit that send button. And then, of course, support our sponsor, Auntie Tabby's Island Flavors. She has delicious barbecue sauces and hot sauces, a hibiscus one, a pineapple one. There's also the guava barbecue sauce that is perfect for your summer barbecue. It's officially kind of non-officially summer because Memorial Days happen, right? So there you go.
And our Dan.
And we have Dan. Look at Dan. He's a longtime supporter of the show. Love you, Dan, so much.
Yeah.
I know. He's happy because that is some delicious hot sauce he has right there. The pineapple hot sauce is bomb. So go to antitabbies.com. Use the coupon code NIKKIM, NIKKIM. You get 10% off each and every time you order. And so we really do appreciate all the support we get from our Madorables out there. All right. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.